Hey, Willowbrook, good morning. My name is Jared. I'm one of the pastors here at the Madison campus. Today we find ourselves reading Judges chapter 2 in our daily Devo. In Judges chapter 2, we have a big event in the life of Israel's history. The great leader Joshua has just passed away. What's that going to result in? Well, actually it results in some pretty sad stuff. Let's read about it in Judges chapter 2, starting in verse 10. It says, after Joshua's passing, that whole generation had gathered to their fathers, and another generation grew up who knew neither the Lord nor what he had done for Israel. When I read that, it reminds me of a mission trip I had years ago with Willowbrook to London. We were driving around London, sightseeing, and I noticed we were passing by a ton of church buildings. So I said something to the missionary. I said, hey, man, you guys have a lot of churches in London, like a lot more than I thought you would have. It reminded me of the South, actually, just churches on every block almost. And the missionary said, well, here's the thing. Those are church buildings. Those aren't actually churches. He said they're all empty on Sundays. He said most of them have been bought by real estate investors, and they're just church buildings on the outside, but they're actually community centers or they're high-rent apartments that have been built. And he began to talk about how, sadly, over the last 100 years, England has gone from a predominantly Christian area to a post-modern, a post-Christian area. I asked the obvious question to the missionary. I said, well, how did that happen? He said, well, sadly, it happened because generations stopped passing down their faith. That's all it takes. That's all it takes. It just takes one generation not telling the next generation about their God or what God has done. It takes one generation not sharing their faith with the next, and a cycle begins that can lead people further and further away from God. And all of a sudden, a people that were known for their faith, no longer are known for such. That happened in England. That's starting to happen here in Israel. What would be the result? Well, let's continue. Let's see what the scripture says. It says, then the Israelites did evil in the eyes of the Lord and served the Baals. Those were false gods at the time. They forsook the Lord, the God of their fathers, who had brought them out of Egypt, and they followed and worshiped various gods of the peoples around them. So in the absence of God, the one true God being exalted, what did God's people do? They worship their own gods. We do the same thing today. If God isn't lifted up in a home, if God isn't lifted up among a people group, we naturally, by default, find other things to worship. One pastor said it this way: everyone is worshiping something. Part of us being created in the image of God is we naturally crave worship. We naturally devote ourselves to something. We naturally center our lives around someone or something. And if it's not the one true God, then it becomes these false gods, these things that fill up our time, fill up our energy, fill up our passion, but aren't truly worthy of our worship. Hey, what's our takeaway today? Hey, a couple of things. First of all, I know me, as a leader of a family, I want to make sure that the family that I lead has faith that is successfully passed down from one generation to another. It's not just about what happens in this room on Sundays. It's what happens in our kitchens, in our living rooms, lifting up God in our homes. And then secondly, let's make sure that the one true God is the only God receiving our worship and our devotion. These false gods aren't worthy of our time and our passion. Only our true God. Hope you have a great day, church family.